I'll wait for it to kick in. Hi guys, welcome back to Canary Cast. Good to see you back here. Little transfer special for you today. Seems that this name has been floating around for a few months now, back end of the Championship season when Michael Bailey first mentioned it to us. But Norwich are being officially linked with Brandon Williams from Manchester United. Year-long loan deal. Jacob, initial thoughts, mate? We've heard this name for a few months now.
Yeah, we've talked about it quite a lot, haven't we? Because if you go back and watch our kind of post-season review of the whole Championship campaign, Bailey said it, didn't he? He said he's very interested in the Brandon Williams link, and we never hear a name from Michael Bailey unless there's something in it in terms of context. You know, it's not just him throwing names out there because they link up and everything. Maybe it is a coincidence, but yeah, probably not. But so yeah, we've kind of tracked it throughout, and it looks like it's going to be done, mate. I think it's going to be less than the 2 million touted around, a lot less. According to Michael again.
That's for the loan fee.
Yeah, loan fee, and then it's an interesting one simply because you look at it and go, is it a slight waste of a loan with centre back and defensive midfield needed? Maybe in my kind of positive mindset at the moment, it's me thinking they've got them almost very, very confident that they will be getting both those positions in permanently.
Yeah, I can't imagine Stuart Webber cutting off the option to loan a CDM or a centre-back for the sake of a backup left-back unless he's really confident that he can get a CDM and a centre-back in permanently. Can you?
No, especially with 2 weeks of the window still to go. It's really probably the Ollie Skip playing for Spurs the other day will have probably really, obviously shut every Norwich fan down in terms of that's just, we were maybe 2, 3, 5% hopeful that it maybe would happen, but unfortunately that won't be happening now. You can look at that, and if he's playing against Man City, you can see he's going to be playing a lot this season for Spurs, and good luck to him. He's been brilliant for us. It is a shame because he would really have helped us get to that level of potentially staying up, but we have to move on. Hopefully Brandon Williams, who we'll go on to in a second about how good he is, what he's good at, what he's not so good at, is going to be a good competition for Dimmy, who was brilliant against Liverpool, and Max, who I thought was very good as well, and really push that on and maybe give the likes of Barley potentially a loan. Yeah,
let's talk about it now, Jacob, because how do you see Brandon Williams fitting into this squad? Because I don't think he comes in and replaces Giannoulis. I don't think a lone player is going to do that anyway. And Giannoulis was fantastic against Liverpool, his best player in a Norwich shirt for me. Aarons was good too. Second goal, bit iffy, but he's pretty not fit. But he's not going to come in and replace Max Aarons or Dimi Giannoulis. This is going to be a backup role, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because Max doesn't really miss games in terms of fitness. And Brandon Williams, so the left-back who is right-footed, he's played predominantly at left-back for United throughout his whole career, very comfortable on his left foot as well, but he is right-footed. It's quite clear to see. If you look at any of his highlight clips, he's clearly right-footed, so can play that right-back role as well. Quite quick. I'd say his frame isn't the biggest. He's quite tall for a left-back. I can't see him fitting into a centre-back in a free or anything. It will be literally full-back cover. But he does push it on. There's obviously negotiations there with Webber and United in terms of how he will play. With Dimmy, 38 games for one player in a season is just not going to happen. So he will play 10, 15 games, you'd imagine, in just substitute appearances and then cover for injuries. And like I was saying with the Barley Mumba thing, you look at that now and think, is he able to get on loan? Depends what on earth's happening with Byram. I mean, I think maybe we have to just kind of shut his name out of it and just think that's just done now because unfortunately, his body is just so done. It seems that he's just not going to be able to recover to Premier League standard. Hopefully he does. It'd be brilliant to see. But maybe Barley, just some loan experience, which would be good for him if he does go out, because I can see when we've seen him play, there's sparks, but there's a lot of improvement he can make. And if he does get those 30, 40 games in a season like Sam McCallum did last year, that would really help Barley out, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree with the Barley loan. I would like to see him given a chance in the Prem, but I think it's better if he goes out and gets first team football every week in the Champ or whatever. That makes complete sense. Byram, I agree, just write him off. But aren't you surprised that Man United have agreed to this, supposedly, if it is only a sort of squad role?
It's very odd, but then for me, he doesn't play in the Champions League for United. He doesn't play in the Premier League for United. Yeah. So
let's talk about his appearances, actually, because 1920 in the Premier League, he makes 17 appearances for United. You're thinking, blimey, he's coming on the scene quite quickly. He's playing a fair amount of games. He played 8 games in the Europa League that season. following season, 4 Premier League appearances and just 2 in the Champions League. I think that's probably something to do with United signing Alex Telles and the competition within the squad. But he came on the scene quite quickly and he has definitely dropped off. He does need a move to sort of revive the hype around him, don't you think?
Yeah, and the thing is, he's going to be coming in from a monumental sized club and really feel like he should be playing. His level of ability, he'll feel like he can back himself. And that will really push Max on, who hasn't had competition recently. Probably hasn't had competition really for 3 years in terms of Byram covered left back more often than not when Jamal wasn't really at it. That will really push Max on, I think, which can only help, like almost Ralph Fairman did with Tim Krul, really give him that right, your position is not safe. I don't think...
Do you think he needs that, Max?
I think that helps. I don't think you can take for granted your position because I don't think his career is stalled at all. I think he's always been very, very solid and progressive. But it's never a harm to have every player fighting for their position. Look at that midfield at the moment. Whilst we're a defensive midfielder short, one of our best players last season, Kenny McLean, is not guaranteed a role in that team currently. And that pushes the likes of Gilmore and Lee Malou and even Rupp to a degree. Like, you're going to have a lot of competition there. If you've got 3 strikers as well who will all push each other on, well, that's with me thinking Jordan Hugill will go. So fullbacks needed that as well. I think with Dimmy, there's always help to be pushed. I mean, he looks very, very ready for the Premier League. But in terms of injury, he's had a couple of hamstring injuries since he's been here. You do think that you don't want to be putting someone out of position to play there, especially in the Premier League, like we did with Sorensen, who, he can't play left back at this league, at this level, because square pegs in round holes for Norwich won't work against teams that are better than us. It'll be found out very quickly. So Brandon also has that real aggressiveness. If you look at him play, he's got that bit of bite and anger and aggressiveness that you want, especially because Norwich is sometimes a bit too nice to play against. And I think we need that kind of, not nasty streak, but just that bit of toughness that, you know what, you're not going to kick me around the pitch today, I'm going to kick you back, sort of thing. And I think that's what he will bring. He'll bring that kind of big club mentality, and he'll want to win, and he'll want to push himself on, and that can never be a bad thing. You look at Gilmore slotted in straight away, even they did look tired after about 65 minutes. You can just see the quality there. Yeah, exactly. You see the quality that he's really going to possess this season.
Yeah, can you see it happening before City at the weekend? That would be, I'm not saying that Yanulis or Aarons will be dropped, but that would be a nice game for Williams to come into. Yeah,
you're looking at it, probably looking more at the Bournemouth game in terms of the cup, and going to be a bit of baptism of fire about City. Might pick him up on the way home, to be fair. But that's going to be a tricky one. I mean, that is going to be a very tough game. But I mean, I think they're going to be really rasping, and KDB will be back. That's the huge difference to them. But no, I think you're looking at Bournemouth and probably fitting him in there, which would be nice. Maybe Mumba on the right, Williams on the left, see how they both are, and really look at what the kind of qualities he has. Daniel Farke will improve him. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind, because he's done it with every fullback we've had currently and every young player we've had.
Yeah, we're getting a real reputation for that. Okay, let's park Brandon Williams there. It all seems like it's going to happen. Brandon Williams joining on loan for the season. Just before we go, let's talk about the other 2 positions that every Norwich fan feels like we need to improve upon: a central defensive midfielder and a centre-back. The links are quite quiet at the minute. Don't know if you've heard anything that I haven't, but only got 2 weeks to go. What do you make of the situation?
It makes it more intriguing that it's 2 weeks ago with a permanent transfer. With a loan, you can leave that until quite late on and have that sorted, because it's not as much of a big deal in terms of negotiation. Because more often than not, obviously, the parent club wants the player to go out on loan. With a permanent transfer, the player either has to be gone or want to go, or again, you've got a lot of young midfielders who you probably could have got on loan from a bigger club in the Premier League or something like that, and you're shutting that off very quickly. So it's going to be fascinating to see. I mean, CDM has to be done, and centre back for me, it was so interesting on Saturday to look at it and be like, Daniel Farke has said to us all now, Christoph Zimmerman's not good enough, because 0 minute, 0 second of pre-season Grant Hanley starts in front of Christoph Zimmerman at the weekend, which makes you think, that's not happening. Zimbo's
and Mohamed Madeli was in contention ahead of him anyway.
So Zimbo's 4th choice, which is good, because he's not good enough. But you need another centre back, especially if we say 5 at the back. It just needs that, and we know with Grant, he gets injuries. It's not his fault. It's just the way it is. Andy O, it looks like he could be very good, but let's not give him that baptism of fire. And Gibson can get injured as well. We definitely need one, but defensive
Yeah.
midfield is the biggest one for me. You look at the midfield was okay for 60 minutes against Liverpool, but you're looking at it and we lack someone who can really drive that midfield on with ball carrying, which I don't think any of them can really do in that midfield at the moment. Maybe Kenny McLean can to a degree, but not like Ollie Skip level, which he did do at times last year. But also just that player who can, again, like Ollie Skip, just nip in, just get that ball and then pass it and give it to the more creative players.
We haven't heard Hamza Chowdhury's name for a few months, but that was linked. Do you make anything of that?
No, well, again, on loan you can see it, but permanently.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing we're looking at it now. We've been looking at midfielders and thinking, yeah, loan, which you can look at a lot of this criteria, even like a Tom Davies from Everton or a Chowdhury, those kind of players who just kind of fallen by the wayside a little bit. But those clubs are going to want big money for them. Yeah. And you just think, and to drop down to Norwich permanently rather than a loan, again, you've got to be very confident that that player, A, is going to succeed, B, is going to want to be here, and C, would be ready if they go down to the trapdoor of the Championship. Just makes it a lot more difficult with both of those positions. But you've got to back Webber and Farker and hope that it does. Well, they need to happen. If they don't, then we're down. In my opinion, it's as wet cut and dry as that. Really, it just has to happen those two positions because, and then we're not, and then we're there. That'll be the frustrating thing I think for all Norwich fans. We're not that far away. Those two positions are only two positions, but they're so key to getting them both done.
I think we could be fairly busy next 2 weeks, as in me and you, because there'll be rumours linked every day when the press knows the sort of situation we're in. They know we're trying to find a couple more, and it'll all step up. Just before we go, I've obviously had my say on the Liverpool game with FansBet. You can check that out on Twitter. But Jacob, you haven't had the chance to yet, mate. What did you make of it?
60 minutes, decent. The first goal is complete luck. I mean, Grant steps out because he's a very aggressive centre-back. Probably should anticipate the
more I see that, I don't think it was a mistake from Salah. I think he meant to do that.
He's not meant.
Do you think?
No, it's miscontrol. Honestly,
the more I see it, the more I think.
If he's meant to do that, then he is one of the best players in the world. But that is he does not know Jota is there. He does not know Hanley stepped out. He cannot see that side of it. I think it's miscontrol. Yeah. But anyway, if it is meant, that is the best assist I've ever seen. I think Tim Krul should save it. I think Jota, that's a poor shot. I don't think Tim played very well, to be honest. That might be me being a bit harsh on him. But I thought he maybe should have done better with all the goals, really. Second one.
In next week?
No, keep him at City. But yeah, I was disappointed with that. And then we just tired, and I was frustrated with Daniel Farke and his late substitutions. Because whilst people are saying, it's a bit of a pre-season game, fine. But, I mean, if we go down by a goal in goal difference by the end of the season, you look at that game and think that was potentially... Pukki had a great chance at 0-0. Just they're the differences, aren't they, at this level? You need to defend well for 90 minutes against the best teams, and we don't always do that. And you then have to take your chances, Man City-esque, and Pukki either shoot across Alisson, make him parry it and Rashid got a tap in, or you put it across like you did for Todd against Man City, and Rashi scores, who I was impressed by in parts. Rashi, I thought he was really good in terms of being able to beat the fullback. I think he's a bit naive to Daniel Farke's system currently, but then quite a few wingers will be. I'm excited to see Jolis and see what he does. Maybe he'll be Bournemouth and see what he's really about. But there's excitement there because Pierre-Lee Malou, I thought, played well. Definitely need an upgrade in that midfield. There's absolutely no doubt. But if you get that defensive midfielder, Gilmour and Lee Malou will be very good against the poorer teams. And you've got to remember it's Liverpool. 3 mistakes, 3 goals, really. Yeah. And we look knackered for after 60 minutes. It could have been 4, 5, 6. And I'm glad it wasn't because it wasn't deserved. Should have scored at the end. I can't believe Gibson.
Hanley header again.
Yeah, Hanley as well. But all in all, it wasn't as bad as what it would have thought of being 2 years ago. It wasn't like, here we go again, 28, 30 losses this season, something stupid like that. There's optimism, a lot of room for optimism, and let's just hope we get there because it's going to be a long season. We said that at the very start, but at least we're back and cheering them on. Yeah,
exactly. All right, we've gone on long enough. Let's leave it there. Leave a comment, talk about anything we've discussed in this video. Like the video if you can as well, because that really does help us out. Until next time, which I'm guessing won't be too long with these signings around the corner, and take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.